All right. Let's get the headphones on. Here we go. Power cable getting stuck as usual. It's always something. All right. What's going on, everybody? I think my camera got messed up. Here, let's refix it real quick. Bang. That looks good, right? I think so. I think everybody can see me, can hear me, can talk to me. I can talk to you. We can talk to each other. All right, let's get that cord. Boom. Look at that. All right, what's up? Missed everyone last week. Just had to take a break, you know. Need that breathing time. But we're back, and boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. So there's a small game come around called Elden Ring. You may have heard of it. Obviously, you've heard of it because it's a fucking masterpiece. So I'm going to go into Elden Ring in a bit. Sorry about that. I do have Horizon Forbidden West I played a shitload of. Elden Ring I played a fuckload of. And there's some other kind of cool stuff. So I want to hit all that because I can kind of just live in the Elden Ring thing for a little bit. The one thing I'll say if you're playing Elden Ring, get a notebook. If you're watching the video, so you got my nice little Elden Ring notebook. It's a composition book. I suggest the grid paper because that way you can write in it, and it's also, you can use the grids for drawing and using distance. Use each grid as a measurement of distance. It helps me. That's just because I'm an engineer, and that's what we taught in school to, when designing shit, especially in game development, use the grid blocks if you're doing that, but neither here nor there. All right, so what did we miss since last week? Well, we got an update on PSVR 2, right, which looks pretty awesome. So we were talking about this the other week when it first got announced. It looks amazing. It's got like an additional vent, a little bit smaller in the head unit size than VR1 was, which is weird to say. Still one cord. It comes in the side. The controllers are more like Oculus Rift kind of based, but they have some of the DualSense with the haptic and adaptive feedback, which we knew. Apparently, it's more comfortable of a headset than the first one was, which is great, especially if you really want to live in it for a few hours, which I know is kind of like their big part. The senior art director said about it was, when I started to work on the design for the PlayStation VR 2 headset, one of the areas I want to focus on first was the idea of creating a vent in the headset to let air out. That's the vent I was talking about, obviously. Similar to the vents on the PS5 console, this allows airflow. Our engineers came up with this idea as a good way to allow ventilation and avoid having the lens fog up while players are immersed in their VR games. I worked on many design concepts to achieve this, and in the final design, you can see it there, is a little space between the top and front surface of the scope that contains integrated ventilation. I'm really proud of how this turned out and the positive feedback I've gotten so far. I hope our PlayStation fans will also agree, and I cannot wait for you to try it out. That is awesome. It sounds dumb, but one of the most annoying parts about the first PlayStation VR is that you could get the lens fogged up. It would get hot as shit. You kind of get sweaty. Having that ventilation right at the lens area kind of provides, one, it will cool you down a little bit. Not a ton, because it's not a fucking fan, but it'll allow kind of the outside air in and also release that hot air buildup that you're having on your face. Not saying you're not going to sweat at all. I mean, you're playing Beat Saber or if you're playing fucking Elden Ring VR, but we'll get to that. You're still going to sweat, but hopefully a more comfortable overall experience. That was kind of it that I thought was notable. I mean, the visual cues of it, we've already went over the refresh rate and things like that when that was all released. This is more, I just kind of wanted to talk about the look of it. And it looks nice. And the ventilation, I think, is very important. And it's, you know, it's, again, it's not something that you might say, hey, that's really sexy. But, like, it will definitely help in the long run when you're doing a ton of, like, you know, changes to things and a ton of shit like that. So I really think it's an awesome thing. I'm just going to pull up the stream here to make sure we're all good right now. And our stream is active, which I think we are. I think it is. Let's double check everything here. Looking good. Actually, hold on. Let's see here. What is it doing? We got that one up. We got Twitch up. Oh, man, I haven't had to do a live check in like fucking forever. And it feels like I'm about to have to do a live check right now. Real shame. Real shame. But yeah, okay, so that's working. We're definitely up there. Let me check one more thing on the stream here. Can't use that phone. So we should be, it looks like we're definitely getting the streaming on Twitch. Doesn't look like I'm up on YouTube currently, which I don't know why, because I should be. But whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Whatever. So if not, I can always just upload the video from Twitch, and that's always fun and it's certainly not a massive pain in the ass to do. Side note, it is. Anyways, so Horizon. Couple things. I even wrote in my handy dandy notebook. So Horizon 2 is awesome. It's excellent. If you like the first game, you're gonna love this one. If you didn't, even if you never would play the first game, you're gonna want to play this one. It's so exciting, so involving. The world is beautiful. It's one of the best looking open world games and one of the best looking games I've played in a long time. They really nailed it. Guerrilla's, a champion dev. The controls feel good. Aloy, the experiences and the dinosaurs or robots, machines is what they call them. Expand in a real natural way. The map is massive. The story is really interesting. You're basically restarting Gaia and kind of trying to find and creating backup of Gaia, which is the system that kind of like ended and also created the world, depending on the subcomponents. And then you have to kind of try to find the subcomponents. You get to build a base. You have like a home base, which is kind of cool to upgrade your stuff at. That was one thing I really enjoyed because it felt like you had like a home to go to. But you also get to like recruit people, so you can like recruit like different areas of people to kind of go up and like do certain things, which I thought was like super interesting. And yeah, so I thought that was definitely a pretty cool thing for it to do. And then you get companions, and depending on the more side stories you do, you can add companions in there, which will then eventually help you for like the final mission, the final couple missions. They also add in a ton of new lore about the Far Zeniths, who you thought moved the ship away, or 8.6 light years away, and they're actually the ones who created the signal in the first game that started Hades to kind of start destroying the Earth. And then after that, I should also mention, I realize I'm like deep into this. This is spoiler heavy, but whatever. I think we're cool with that, right? We're cool with spoilers. Everything I do, just assume I'm going to bring up spoilers because I get too excited and I don't think about prefacing this is going to have spoilers. So if you didn't figure it out already, it has spoilers. So moving past that, they actually are the ones who stand the signal that started Hades, which is kind of like the villain in the first game. And you find more about that in this game. And they're actually here and not like the descendants of them, actually them, which is fucking wild. So I thought that was really cool because it kind of shows a longevity and like new machine work, and Ted Farrow's kind of back, which is interesting because he's the guy that kind of fucked everything up for Gaia and Elizabeth Sobek and basically the Earth in the first game, while in that whole lore. I don't want to go too much more into the ending stuff because that stuff I feel like everybody should kind of experience, but it's really good. The stuff you can do, the traversal is awesome. The climbing is great. Kind of got like a Breath of the Wild feeling where you could pretty much climb on like every mountain you can see. There are certain things you can't, which is a bitch. But if you flash your focus, which is was it R3, you'll kind of see all these yellow lines, and that'll let you know like, oh, you can climb on this, climb on that. You're just clicking that like a billion fucking times. Be like, what can I hit? What can I hit? What can I hit? So I thought that was definitely an interesting thing. The other part, and sorry, I keep checking like why the fuck Maybe I just didn't turn on live for YouTube, which actually kind of makes sense. Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. Or maybe I don't, but I do. I think I went private live. I would switch to private instead of public. Anyways, whatever. What am I talking about? Horizon. So another interesting aspect is the allotment of like gameplay options. So you can go stealth, you can go more machine. The whole skill trees they have are fucking amazing. I went infiltrator because I kind of like the stealth and this aspect of the game a lot. A little bit of machine and hunter. I don't really use the warrior bows or the shock trap or is there shock casters or whatever the fuck they're called. I like the bows. I'm a bows man, so I'm getting my archery side on. I do some melee, but I would say like 99% of all my attacking is by bow, even if it's like up close and personal, because I'm just using like acid arrows, fire arrows, plasma arrows, advanced hunter arrows. I mean, there's so many different weapon types and allotments you can do that it makes replayability very interesting. It's also a very filled open world. There's a ton of side quests, ton of errands, ton of jobs. If you need to upgrade a weapon, you can create a job for the exact missing material, which I thought was cool. So you see all the on your map, you see where all the quest objectives are. Everything is kind of presented to you. You're guided, even with the smaller stuff. Smaller quests, you're very guided in it. There's no difficulty trophy. So, for example, I started playing it on hard, and then I switched it to medium or normal because I was dying like towards halfway through the game, and I was like, why am I making this so difficult? There's no fucking difficulty trophy. And I switched it, and then I've been flying through every side quest, which is cool because I'm getting to experience all the game and getting all the story and lore, but also not like getting too stressed out. The reason why is I'm drilling through this, right? Just like I did for Dying Light 2 to get to Elden Ring, right? Because I knew Elden Ring would take my life over because I love Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time, and I loved all the Dark Souls games as well, and the Demon Souls remake, which is really Blue Point Games, but based off of the From Software game from before. Now, and I knew that would like take my life, so I was like, I gotta get to this and like let's just drill through it. Playing it on hard is kind of playing like the Elden Ring difficulty. It's, you know, some stuff can kill you easier, some stuff makes it a little more hard. So that training slightly got me back into the Elden Ring groove or From Software Souls groove, but switching about the medium definitely didn't fucking help. The dodge rolling maybe, but there's no real shield you're using, so blocking is not really a big technique in Horizon. But there's a ton of machines. The only missable trophy you can do in a run is not scanning all machines. And there's one that only shows up once towards the end. It's a boss fight. You have to scan that before you kill it. That's all I'm going to say about it because I don't want to ruin it, but make sure you scan before you kill. As for the other ones, there's nothing much missing. But like I was saying, it's very visually appealing. The gameplay feels solid and smooth. I didn't notice really any bugs. I've been playing on quality mode just because it looks so fucking beautiful. And everything is kind of handed to you, so you're never really lost. You can have like quest guidance and all that kind of shit. All right. I feel like I've been talking so fast because I'm just trying to get to Elden Ring. So let's just go in. I get Horizon, finish it up. Let's get in the Elden Ring, okay? What do I say? Elden Ring is a masterpiece. Plain and simple. It is phenomenal. It is one of the best games I've played. The mechanics are solid. The world is engrossing and is a true open world experience, and I'll kind of go into that. But it's just the fighting is so tight. It's very Souls-like. So I'm going to go into some spoilers and like some tips and tricks. What I noticed, but like just to kind of give you a number, Horizon is like an 8.5, 9 out of 10 for review. Elden Ring is a solid masterpiece, 10 out of 10 game. It really is. Yeah, there's some bugs and some they're patching it. I play on prioritize performance, mainly because so much stuff's happening in this game. You want to make sure every split second counts when you're fighting these things because they move so fast. You can prioritize quality. To be honest, I didn't know a ton of different. I didn't really see a ton of difference. I wasn't like standing there staring at a bunch of shit. But with this kind of game, performance is what I was going with. And I have a feeling they'll probably patch it to kind of make it go a little bit better because the frame rate has been an issue. It's not really towards an issue towards more the second half of the game. But for PC, Xbox, and PS5, they all have slight frame rate issues, so just be aware. But they are getting patched. 1.02 is out, and it's helped a great deal. And I'm assuming there's going to be even more in the next week or so. All right, so with that said, that's all non-spoilers. So now we're just going into spoiler territory. Difficulty. Every Souls game is hard as shit. Everybody knows that. They're notorious for their difficulty. The interesting part is this game's really not that difficult. Now, let me preface that. You will not like this game. The entry point is you're going to die a lot. It's going to be stressful. Know that going in and accept it. You can't change the difficulty. You can't make bosses easier. You can't make certain things happen that you wish happened. There's no map markers. There's no like quests that are guiding you like Horizon. The only way where you know where you're going is these little whispers, right? These little like faint lights. And then really the lore and just reading the stuff in the game. That's why I said the journal. It really does help. Or if you Google it, but that kind of takes some of the fun and the exploration out of it. Because this is a true open world game where you have to envelop and take in the world. This is really like a masterpiece of game design. Like Bloodborne, I consider one of the best game design games ever, just because of how they structured everything, where all the paths are, where the locations are. I mean, you can fucking jump now, which is great. But all of that, they brought that level of game design in Elden Ring and expanded it significantly. You can go everywhere you want from the start, but realize shit's going to be higher level in certain areas and kind of fuck you up. Also, when you're going, dragons could fly in. You have a boss fight out of nowhere. You get the horse, which helps you traverse great distances quickly, and it's very helpful when you need to run away from those impromptu boss fights that you don't want to do yet. Just fucking jet out of there. But difficulty, it is hard, but it's only as hard as you make that. And what I mean is, like, you're going to die, accept that. So once you accept that, it's really just about patience, and it's a dance. It's not hack and slash. All the rings, all the, Souls game, Bloodborne, blocking techniques, dodging. It's all about learning the patterns and dance. So it really is. It's like when you dance, you have those, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, doing the tango, box in, box out. I did classical dance as a kid, so that's the only reason why I can relate it like that. But it's learn the pattern, be patient, don't over jump, but also when you see your opportunities, take them. The game is about missed opportunities and patience. Take the opportunities presented to you, wait for them when they are, and don't force something. But when that boss has like 1 health left, do not sit back and be like, all right, I'm going to get it, because that's when most people die. Charge that motherfucker and go all in. Believe that you're going to hit him once before he can hit you twice. And that's really what some of it comes down to. And that's what you have to take advantage of. Also, your spirit ashes, your companions you can summon. I haven't done any multiplayer, but a couple bosses have the option to like summon an NPC companion that will fight alongside you. I suggest do that for Margarite. But it's only as hard as you make it, because you can level yourself outside of this. So don't just follow the main path. This whole game is about exploring the world and exploration. Go off the beaten path. Why? 1, you're going to find a lot of cool shit. 2, you can kind of farm and level yourself. So when you hit the boss fights, you become overpowering. The reason why this is helpful, enemies do not scale in this game. So you can, if you want, wait on story and just kind of farm and level certain areas until you're leveled up to a higher level than what you should be at that boss fight to make it a little easier. Now, even when you're a higher level in these games, it doesn't mean the boss fight's fucking easy. It just means like you'll have the opportunity to make a couple of larger strikes, which is important. But you're never going to be like, oh, this is like nothing. And that's kind of the point of it. I would suggest farming. There's a couple good places to go. But specifically for the first boss, Margarite, I've seen a lot of people talking about how hard Margarite is, and he's a bitch, right? I would suggest getting Margarite's shackle. It's basically like, it's kind of like the music box in Bloodborne, where it will kind of bind Margarite twice during the first phase of the fight. It doesn't work after that, but that first phase, you can basically get Margarite down to half health, like in a couple seconds without taking a hit, and then summon your wolves, get that companion, and then just kind of play time and heal yourself. So where you get the shackle is from patches. So go to Murkwater Cave, which is kind of above the first watering hole. So if you start at that first church you find with the merchant, go right and go straight out the door. There's like a big area of water. Go halfway through, take a left. You'll go under a bridge, and then you'll see Murkwater Cave. There's like a forced enemy fight there. He's really easy to beat. And then you'll go in the Murkwater Cave. There's a couple enemies in there, but nothing too crazy. And then basically you have a boss fight with patches. Now just rush him, hit him a couple times. Once he gets to half health, he'll actually surrender. You can keep hitting him and kill him, but that kind of defeats the purpose of this. So just stop, accept the surrender, forgive. He'll become a merchant and has some really unique items. One of them being Margarite's Shackle. It's 5,000 runes, which is a lot. But if you start farming rooms, like there's this place called Farmo Great Bridge, which is the far right side of the map. And you basically get there from going into, let's see if I can just pull up the map so I can kind of like verbally. I know it would be better if I have this up, but there's only one of me, so I can't do a ton of shit. Let's see if someone just has. Here we go. Perfect. No, that asshole did not show the area of the map. So there's this like dragon. It's like Dragon Cave. It's in that middle, outside of that church where you ran for the Great Bridge to Murkwater. In the middle of that, there's an artifact called Dragon Water. Then under that, there's a dungeon door. You can run to it, sneak through the rats. You don't have to trigger them. If you crouch or run by them, they won't aggro to you. Open the chest. It'll teleport you to like Stillwater Cave, which is a crystal cave. Just run straight out. Do not go up the ladder because that's going into the cave. You don't want to do that. There's a site of grace right there. Then just run straight. Basically run straight to the right. So just up and to the right. Because once you do that, you'll see one more point of grace you can grab. And then you'll see like an opening on the side. Go up there, hit that point of grace. Again, keep going straight. There's another like broken down building area, ruins. Go in the bottom of that. There's a bunch of enemies under that you will have to fight because you won't be able to open the door without killing them. They're kind of a bitch, but they're not too bad. They take like 2-3 hits when you're like level like 15 or 20. So nothing crazy. Then once you get there, open that door. I'm taking you to get a legendary item. But fuck it, this will give you a legendary item. If you open that door, there's another chest in there that will give you the Meteorite Sword. You need a shitload of intelligence. I think it's like 18. It's like 20 dex, 18 strength, and like 18 intelligence. But it has the gravity blade katana, and it's fucking awesome. So if you're going for like kind of like a faith inspec, like a mage, this might be a good weapon for you. Or if you're trying to do like a more balanced approach with like samurai or vagabond characters, this is also a good one. I could talk about this shit forever. So I'm a samurai class, going more like dex based, but I am trying to balance it. So I'm doing vitality, endurance, some mind, because I am using unsheath, which is incredible. Two-handed katana, if you're a samurai, two-handed katana, you'll drill through people. I didn't realize you could fucking do this because the game doesn't tell you anything. Hold down like the equip thing and you'll go two-handed. Just fucking wreck people with it. Then if you hold the skill button in Katana, that'll do Unsheath, which is a massive strike and can cause bleed. Then over time, you'll just run through people. It'll scale with dex once you upgrade the sword type, dexterity. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm going for. So this is another sword that will help in that if you go for intelligence. I'm doing some mine because Unsheath takes some mine, some FP points, and the mighty shot on the bow, if you use that skill, that's also a big help, which is also mine. So I kind of only get one FP flask, and I do everything else with the health flasks. I'm not going to just make this like a bunch of how-to. If you have more like specific how-to, I can jump in and we can just talk about it. But I just kind of want to go over the first boss. So anyways, another area to farm is the Great Bridge. So it's kind of like the same area where I told you to go before. There is a dragon on the bridge, but you can go around it because if you get teleported from another treasure chest to Fallon Great Bridge, you'll see a giant enemy. Just run fucking past him. He won't aggro to you unless you hit him. Do not hit him. All these enemies will kill you in 1 to 2 hits. They're all like super high powered. And it's the right side of the map, so it's like towards end game. But if you get the touch of great at the Fallon Great Bridge, and you can also look up the map directions how to get there because it's easier than me verbally explaining it. If you stealth attack these guys, you're getting like almost 1.1. You get like 1094 runes a kill. And they're generally like one shot, maybe like half a shot in stealth kill, but then you just like hit them 2 or 3 times with your sword or whatever, and you'll kill them without them letting you get a first shot off. And so it takes a couple seconds to kill each one, and you'll get a little over 1,000. So after a couple minutes, you're at like 10, 20,000 runes, and you just keep going to the site of grace, come back, they'll repopulate, and just keep running through. Then just level yourself up. Now, level yourself up, and you can also get 5,000 for the runes to get Margarite Shackle at Murkwater Cave. And then you're either ready to fight. I would fight Margarite at least level 22 or above. Use the wolves, use the summon companion, use Margarite Shackle. You should be fine. If you really are having too much issue, keep doing the rune run, and then go to Rhea Crystaltown Lake, which is kind of way higher up. Just keep going straight, like north on your map. And you can also like Google Rhea Crystal Lake Cave. Once you go there, they'll be kill the boss there. You'll be able to actually buy smithing stones 1 and 2 from the round table hold, and then you can upgrade all your swords. I had +1 on my sword, but if you want to be easier, wait till you're like +3, +4, and +1 or 2 on your bow, and you'll fucking wreck Margarite in no time. Then Godric's actually a little bit easier. It's just more agility based, which is the next boss. But that's how you'll kind of kill Margarite. You'll get that satisfying first boss beat, and then kind of go further into the game. Now, if you're a new player or someone who hasn't played a ton of Souls, I recommend high vitality classes. So we're talking Vagabond, talking Samurai, the warrior classes. Those all go high in vital because you're getting railed a lot. If you're an experienced player or really like the magic stuff, the mage class is awesome. It's very powerful. Magic damage, does a lot of good range, but you're essentially a glass cannon. You get hit twice, you're dead. But before they hit you, you probably can kill most people. So it's really just up to you how comfortable you are in it. I would say for first playthrough, do something with high vitality so you kind of enjoy the world. You understand the game. You get how to beat the enemies. You understand the pattern. You understand the cadence. You get your dance right. You know how to farm, things like that. Then you can kind of really enjoy the game. And then if you want to remake a character, you know what you're in for. You know where everything is. You know where the players are. And you know how to beat them. And that will significantly help you in your fight against like everybody else. Because then I think like a mage playthrough is fun. But I really like playing as a samurai. I really like I said, my one. So it's like I'm not having a problem yet with it. So that's kind of what I'm enjoying here. So I would suggest keep playing. I would suggest, like I said, use the Vagabond, Warrior, Samurai class. There's a lot of cool legendary items. For example, the guy in the round table hold that doesn't really talk to you, he's like leaning up against the door. He has this rot armor, which is fucking cool. And you can get it through a couple ways, but basically on the edge, and I found this by just randomly running around. It's like Village of Ashenborough. It's towards the far northwest of the map. When you go there, just when you get that site of grace, there'll be a mage, which you can just sneak past. You don't have to attack them. Then there's like a big pot, and just like a random pot. Hit it once, it'll turn into this old dude. Do not keep hitting him. You don't need to kill him. He becomes somebody you can talk to. And then he'll give you this half of this amulet. Once you do that, just go right back to the round table hold. It'll be darker because someone's going to attack you. It's a pretty easy fight. Once you're at like a level after you beat Margarite, you can beat this guy. Then once you beat him, that guy that's leaning up, and then you get teleported back to the true round table hold. That guy that was leaning up against the door in the round table will be gone, but all his armor will be beneath him. It's rot armor, and it's cool. You look like this cool living skeleton thing, and it will help generate health when you lower it. Now, it's not super fast, but it's like over time, so it can help in a boss fight. Now, some of your vitality is lower. Vitality is like the chance that you're going to get hit and die immediately. So not just like your health, but also like when you see it as a stat, that's like you get hit and die. Your poise is like how long it takes you to get knocked down where you can't really fight back for a couple seconds. Fun fact, every boss has a poise. So if you use like R2 or the strong attacks, those do more poise damage than the quick attacks. And if you can get them down, you'll be able to knock bosses down like Margarite and do a repulsed where you run in, do a quick attack for a significant amount of damage. So that's also something that works for every boss and is definitely a worthwhile point. The other thing is, I like for samurai, I use Mighty Shot, which is the skill on the bow. It does a ton of damage. So when they're far away, even bosses, nail them as many times as you can. You'll generally be able to get 1 to 2 shots in, maybe 3. I do 1 shot with it, spirit wolves or jellyfish. Jellyfish is also good for Margarite because it causes poison damage, but the wolves are also good. But the jellyfish cause poison damage over time, which is very helpful, and he's weak to poison. And then I use Mighty Shot 1 or 2 times, and then when he's close, just go to Unsheath and just start wrecking shop. Now, you still have to dodge and run, and you're going to die. Like, even with these tips, like, you're still going to die, but the point is know that and kind of don't let the stress get to you, because when you get too stressed out and you're too up, you're going to start forcing things. You're not going to be thinking clearly. You're not going to be able to see the pattern or affect the pattern, and then you're going to die over and over, and that will get stressful. So this game, they're not for everyone because they have a high entrance rate of difficulty. But once you accept that and see what that is and know how to play against it, see the pattern, it's so awesome. And the fact that it's an open world game, unlike Horizon, where it's not cluttered with all this info. The only way you know where shit is because you listened, you saw the lore, you have to read the lore passages, listen to the conquests, go and just explore, just look for shit. Oh, something cool could be over there, and chances are something is. It's the most filled open world I've ever played, but it doesn't have a ton of map markers, so it's you don't feel overloaded with a ton of shit. You can put your own map markers down so you know, but that's why I said I recommended the grid journal. It fucking helps. Or put your lore information, put the map down there. Yeah, you can Google some shit, but not everything is known, right? It's only been out for 2 weeks for reviewers, 1 week for everybody else. But it's so fucking good. If you want a challenge and you want something that's going to like excite you in gaming, that keeps your attention and feels like it's like a world of exploration, this is the game for you. It's going to be hard as shit. So don't bitch at me when they're like, I'm dying to it. You're going to. Just relax. Try to understand what's happening. Understand them. What are their positioning? What's their pattern? And once you do that, you'll be able to kind of change your play style to beat those enemies. And then once you start getting more kills and stuff doesn't creep you out as much or scare you as much, you'll really start liking this. And also the creativity in game design is just crazy. The way these enemies look and they react, it's like, what the fuck? But it's an awesome game. I love it so much. I just think it's such a fun experience as well. So, like I said, take the tips, do the farming at Farm Great Bridge, kill the boss at Raya Crystal Lake so you can buy Smithing Stone 1 and 2. You know, get the Margarite Shackle if you're stuck there from patches at the Murkwater Cave. And just if you really are dying too much, start over again as a high vitality class just to kind of get your feet wet. You also can sprint. I didn't know you could sprint till halfway through the game. I forgot. You hold in whatever the dodge button is. So because it's circle on PS5, but I don't know what it is on everything else. And then the two-hand stuff, it's the equip weapon. So it's triangle on PS5. Hold that, and you'll two-hand swords. Just learn that. Use your horse, and you're going to be just fine. It is so good. Use those tips. If you have anything, just DM me if you have more questions. And if not, I promise you're going to enjoy it. It's some of the best boss fights, exhilarating lore, and just great world game design. Not just from a game dev engineering perspective, but also just a player user perspective that makes you feel so involved in such a dark, dreary world, but beautiful at the same time. But yeah, so like I said, use those. You try to help yourself out. Use those tips, and let's be glad we game. You fucking maidenless, tarnished pieces of shit. No, I'm just kidding. You're all great. You're maidenless. You're tarnished. And I got to go play some more Elden Ring because it's all I can think about. All right. Have a good one. Bye.